Hello Eurovision fans, thank you so much for coming to my channel Eurovision Histories. I wanted to do on the day of the grand final of Eurovision 2025, obviously, a final preview video where we will talk about different things, a bit of a distraction from the nervousness and anxiety that is growing within me about what might happen tonight. Maybe some of you have the same feeling as well. So what we will be doing is I will tell you about the jury show that I watched last night and give you a bit of a review about who performed well and who maybe didn't as well, and also what to expect in the show. If you don't want the spoilers, I leave timestamps in the description so you can skip that part and go to the other parts. I will also show you my prediction from last night and tell you where I now think I might have been wrong. I won't update it. I learned my lesson from updating my prediction for semi 1, which made it worse. But we'll still have a quick look at that. I will talk about some of the records that have been broken already in this Eurovision, so you can maybe impress some people at your viewing party. By the way, I did a video called How to Win Eurovision in 6 Steps, which you might send to your guests at your viewing party to avoid some of the questions you sometimes get at viewing parties and that make you miss your favorite performance. So I'll link to that in the description. We'll also look at who I want to win personally. I talk a lot about the predictions, which is not my personal opinion, but here I want to share my personal opinion. I want to tell you why I love Eurovision and why I fell in love with it. I asked you for questions for a Q&A. I will be doing that after Eurovision. Thank you for the questions. But I included some of the more general questions here. So one of them is, why do you love Eurovision? And I want to answer that. And then last but not least, I will reveal the winner of Eurovision Knockout, our competition on this channel in the style of the World Cup, where 2 songs from Eurovision 2025 go head to head. And we have the final with Kai and Erika Wigman, and also the battle for 3rd place between Škodra Elektronika from Albania and Adonis from Czechia, who unfortunately didn't qualify, but he might still come 3rd in Eurovision Knockout. So that's what to expect. I hope you like it. So let's start with the review of the jury show. But before that, I also want to say thank you for 15,000 subscribers. I was so happy seeing that this morning. I still can't believe people are interested in what I have to say, but thank you so much for subscribing. And if you haven't yet, maybe you want to, because only, by the way, this smiley is a representation of how I felt this morning. So thanks when I saw the 15,000. So thanks for that. So do subscribe. Only a third of you watching this video are, and lots more fun videos coming your way. Let's go with the review of the jury show. So spoiler alert, if you don't want to see this, go ahead in the video. So I'll start with the show. I think it's quite a good show, even though I think the Made in Switzerland interval from semi 1, this happened in Malmö last year as well, should have been in the final. It was so well done. It was funny and musically quite catchy as well. I've had it stuck in my head for a long time now. They do a bit of a hint that they did this and that you can watch it on the channel, but some of the other interval acts are a bit There are some Swiss artists. That was quite cool, but I don't know whether this has to be in the final. This seemed more like a semi-final interval with Luca Hänni, John Stiers, great performances, really great. Paola, who people in Germany might know still, and other countries as well, with a very sweet performance. And so that was nice. And then, unfortunately, in the jury show at least, they showed the video message by Celine Dion again, which they already showed in semi 1, which feels still a bit strange to me. So maybe this was a placeholder for the final and she might actually appear. I still haven't lost all hope, but it doesn't look too promising, unfortunately. So maybe she won't be there. But I thought after seeing the interval act that I thought was best, actually, there is a sort of rap battle style thing going on between Baby Lasagna and Kerrie. We already knew that they would be there, and I thought they might perform together, and they do. That is so well done with the graphics as well. And then they perform their new song together. So we will be hearing some Croatian on the Eurovision stage, even though Croatia didn't make it and also had a song in English this year, which is pretty cool. So don't switch to another channel or take a toilet break. You have to see this. It's really, really impressive. And then Nemo also performed a new song, which I find really good, the new song. The performance, if it were a Eurovision entry, we would probably say it's quite divisive, but very interesting, quite artsy, quite expressive as well. So you should not switch the channel or go to the bathroom or the washroom when that happens. It's quite a interesting performance, I have to say, by Nemo. And then Michelle Hunziker is joining the two other hosts. She's a big star in Italy and also in the German-speaking countries. And is a very experienced host. During the rehearsal, she mumbled some of her words and stuff, but I think she knows exactly what she's doing. So, and she doesn't wear the kinds of outfits that the other two hosts were wearing. I can already tell you that. So lots to look forward to in this show. And even though I would have liked Made in Switzerland as part of the show, let's talk about the performances. I won't talk too much about them. If you're interested in my deeper analysis, so to speak, of the performances, go to the reviews of Semi 1 and Semi 2, where I talked about each of the performances. Here, I really want to focus on what was better or worse than we have seen before. The stream didn't work for Norway and Luxembourg and also half of Estonia, so I cannot really tell you how they were doing. I've heard that some voices sounded a bit tired, which is understandable, but this was the big jury show, by the way. If you don't know that, 50% of the result are already sure. The juries voted last night based on these performances. So having a tired voice is a bit of a problem, actually. So I can't tell you too much about Norway, Luxembourg, and also really not really that much about Estonia. Israel, she vocally was perfect in that run through, and everything else also worked. No wardrobe malfunction. Lithuania sounded and looked perfect to me, like they have done in the past. Spain was very good vocally. I have to say that I have to watch that on my laptop because the online media center only lets you watch on a laptop. So the sound isn't always the best for some of these. So maybe take all of this with a pinch of salt. I've seen lots of comments from all around very kind of contradicting comments about the vocal performances of some of the artists. So take it with a pinch of salt. This is just my opinion, as I always like to say. Spain sounded good vocally. There were a few moments where the sound mixing, not her fault, but the sound mixing seemed a bit off again, unfortunately, but I don't think it's a big problem, and I think the juries can notice that it's the sound mixing and not her and exclude that from their deliberations. Then Ukraine came along, and I thought, oh, I think the sound on my laptop is really bad because it sounded quite off in a lot of places. I've seen others say that this was fine, so maybe it is my laptop and my ears, but this didn't sound all that great. And same thing, unfortunately, for the United Kingdom. I think one of them was a bit off again. This might also be because I love the song. I listen to it all the time and notice every little difference from the studio version, maybe more than other people. But I'm not expecting all that many jury points, unfortunately. They looked a bit uncomfortable in some places, as well as if they knew that something was not 100% right. Though there were also great moments where they interacted great. And then Oscar came along and I thought, okay, it's not my laptop because his vocal performance was amazing. I think he even ad-libbed a few things and made them even more impressive, which for the jury show is a great idea. So this is in the running still to win the jury, I'm quite sure. And also all the other things, the boat and stuff, work quite well. I think the moment when he hangs the lantern, he had to rush a little bit, but I don't think anyone who didn't see the rehearsals notices that. Then Iceland, fine, no problem there, I think. For some of them, I only listened, I didn't watch because I had other stuff to do too. Latvia, great performance, sounded great. And the crowd really loves the moment when the tails appear in the background. So yeah, the Netherlands, I did watch and I listened to as well. Again, this is a song I listen to a lot. It's growing on me every single day. And it sounded a bit off in a few places. Not too many, not a big problem. And I heard others say that this was perfect, so who knows. Then Finland, I thought she had an amazing performance, actually. This might get quite a few jury points, more than people expect, maybe. Vocally, this was strong. She lived the moment, as she has done always, but there's a bit of an extra push that she had, I think, in the performance. So well done for her. Italy was great. The sound mix was much better than in the semi. You actually heard the harmonica much more. And this moment where he hands over the harmonica to his partner on stage and kind of says thank you, tells you all about his personality. I found that really lovely, and could be another one that does quite well. Then Poland, vocally, as always, very good. I think she had a problem when she wanted to get rid of the how do you say that? Like, she hangs from the roof on these things that are wrapped around her wrist. And I think she had a bit of trouble getting rid of that. And then she had to sprint a bit faster to the front of the stage to do the rest of the performance. But you know her, she's a professional and did that quite well and saved the moment quite well, I thought. Germany, I listened to quite intently because I wanted to hear how her voice sounds for the juries, because that's a big question mark, obviously. It was quite shaky in a few parts, I do have to say. Once she has to move a bit more, it is a bit shaky, but it wasn't bad, I think. It was quite okay, but I don't know whether the juries will go for this because it's catchy or not go for it because of the vocals, and maybe also because it's a bit of a simple composition, if you think about it, la 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 and stuff. Greece, I did something else while she performed because her vocals are always perfect, and they were perfect. I listened to it, obviously. She should be studied, I think. To hit every single note that perfectly every single time is very impressive. I think my prediction for Greece might have been too low. Armenia, he did every single time he performs, I feel like he becomes more confident and does more. The long sustained note was perfect. I think he's performed this really well. His vocal performance is getting better and better also. So great job for Armenia. Switzerland worked well. Again, I listened to this every single day a couple of times, and it sounded a bit pitchier than it does in the studio version. But everything else worked. The whole performance, the camera, everything worked. And there's a beautiful moment at the end with the whole arena lighting up. So that is really good. Malta vocally was a bit shakier than during the semi-final, but still was good. The question is whether the juries will go for an entry that is staged with so many elements and so over the top. Then Portugal was really beautiful. He sang it well, and it's kind of standing out in this lineup after Malta. And then Denmark, she performed very well indeed once again. And this feels like it could do so well in the juries because look at the lineup. It's the only song in English. Is that right? Yes. It's really the only standard mainstream pop song in a long while, and for the last 6 at least. And she performs so well. She sings it so well. It's staged quite professionally. So maybe I underestimated Denmark as well. And then Sweden and France. These two together will be the best few minutes in my Eurovision experience this year. Kai did amazingly well. The vocals were much louder in the mix than in the semifinal, which was good. Everything else worked without a hitch. I think the fun comes across. I think their personalities come across a bit as well. I don't love the very orange part in the middle, but that's only a very little part. And the whole arena went with this when the lasers and the party started. So I think they did really well, and they should get jury support for this song. And then France, I was glued to the screen because I was so worried that something might go wrong, because Slimane had this voice crack last year. But this was vocally very, 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 very good. An emotional moment as well. Some of the times she looks at the camera, you get the emotional connection, which I was worried about with this performance. It still doesn't quite look like sand in some angles, but this is a incredibly well-performed ballad. She put a lot of emotion into it. And in some parts, she had to concentrate not to get sand into her mouth, I think. And I noticed that because I've seen it so many times, and I was glued to the screen, as I said. But such an emotional moment, very close to the end of the show. And again, the songs around it don't have that emotion, at least. Lots of other emotions, but not this like pulling at the heartstrings. And so I think France might do very, very well. I will do my winners prediction later. I think I have to take a walk or something and think about it because I'm still not sure. I wanted to do it this morning, but I still don't know what is going to happen, especially between number 23 and 24. Then in 25th position is San Marino. The crowd likes this. I think this might do quite well. The singers were okay. They only have to stand there and sing, so not that surprising. Good entry, I think. And then the great finish of the final with Albania, the close, at least when it comes to the performances. Obviously, there's lots happening after it. Really beautiful. She sang it incredibly well. He did well. So this hopefully will get some jury support, even though it is a traditional inspired entry. Let's call it that. So do subscribe if you haven't yet, as I said, but I wanted to look at my prediction as well that I did last night. So I had France winning and Sweden coming second. I'm still not sure about that. So I'll be doing another video later on if I hopefully am a bit more sure. Albania top 5 might be a bit high, maybe, but I think it could come 5th, actually. Austria in the top 5 seems right. And Israel as well. She performed this really well in the jury show. Netherlands, top 10 makes sense. Finland might actually push one of the top 5 out of the top 5 because she really performed the hell out of that song. Then Italy, top 10 still makes sense. Estonia and Ukraine, I'm not sure about. They might be replaced in the top 10 by another entry because Ukraine was quite off vocally, and Estonia, I think they'll be in the top 10 because of the televote. Then Switzerland might join the top 10 and Ukraine is in the top 15 maybe. Norway, I don't know because we didn't have this the stream. Then Spain, I think could do this well because it is kind of the only girl bob in, really, I think. Some of the others could be considered girl bobs, but this is really in the lane of what people expect at Eurovision. Greece is another one that could be in the top 10 instead of the top 15, I think. San Marino, Malta, Latvia, Armenia, and Lithuania makes sense. Armenia could be a bit higher, actually, and push someone in the top 15 down. And then in the bottom 6, Germany could struggle with the juries, and I kind of put it there not to be too sad if we come bottom 6 again. Iceland maybe makes sense. Luxembourg maybe also, because it's so early in the running order. I think this might not get that many televotes. Portugal could be a bit higher. Denmark, I think, might be a jury surprise. So I might be very wrong about putting them second to last. But the UK, unfortunately, even though I love this song so much, I am a bit more confident about now. So spoilers over. Let's get to the records you can impress people at your viewing party with. First of all Nordics and all Baltics are in the final for the first time since 2015. So that is interesting and could have maybe a bit of an effect on the result, especially for the Nordics that are not doing as well as the others. So if there are 3 Nordics in the final, more points from the Nordics can concentrate on these 3 songs. Having all 5 in there might be a bit of a problem maybe for the ones that might struggle to get a lot of points from other countries. Then for the first time since 2013, we have no countries from the former Yugoslavia in the final. So no Croatia, no Slovenia, no Serbia, no Montenegro. However, as I said, we have, and spoiler here again, we have Baby Lasagna performing in the final and in Croatian, which is quite cool. Spoiler over. And then Denmark qualified for the first time since 2019, breaking their non-qualification streak. So very happy for them indeed. Ukraine still has the longest qualification streak at 15. So every single time they did manage to qualify. And Montenegro is now the one with the worst, 6 times in a row, though there were a lot of times in between where they didn't even participate. But the last 6 times they sent a song, they did not manage to go to the final, very unfortunately, and I hope they stay around regardless participate next year is what I mean. Now, who I want to win, which is different from my prediction, even though this year it's not that different from my prediction. As I said, my favorite song still is Voyage from Switzerland, then Maman from France, and then probably C'est la vie from the Netherlands, which has grown on me a lot, even more. I loved it from the beginning, but I like it more and more. So you notice I like songs in the French language, which I find very beautiful, and also more ballady songs. But when it comes to who I want to win, I always also think about what is best for Eurovision. So you really see how much of a nerd I am, because I want the contest to continue. I want the contest to do well in the future. And I think that a win for France would be a good thing, because I think a contest hosted by France would look very different from the contest we've seen in the last, let's say, 10 years. I think they would have their own specific touch that they would bring to it, and they would bring a lot to it. They hosted the Olympics amazingly. And also Luan, an established artist, winning, maybe giving a push to her career, I think would also be a good thing for Eurovision in France, which is important because it's a big five country, but also all over Europe, maybe more established artists might think, oh, maybe I can do this and it actually helps me instead of hurting me. And the other one is more because of the artist, where Kai, I think, winning would be such a cool story. One of my subscribers said you could make a movie out of it, and I agree. This underdog story group performing in the dialect of a regional minority, and then going to Melody Festival and being last in the odds to win, and winning against all odds against the former Eurovision winner, no less, and then coming to Eurovision and actually winning. And the second reason is I think that this song has the potential to be a Aise Ochepego or Gangnam Style, so these songs in other languages where most people don't understand what they are about, but they still become hits because they are so good and so unique and special. So these are the two I would be very happy if they won, but lots of others, of course, as well. Then we get to Eurovision knockout, so let me do this. So yes, for this very important occasion, I wanted to dress nicely. This is also kind of an addition to the EBU to maybe host Eurovision someday. I speak Francais, Italiano, Espanol, and Deutsch, and also English. So, and I know a lot of facts about Eurovision, so maybe you might consider that. Sorry. That was a self-plug. Then let's go to Eurovision Knockout. Again, a lot of you might be new to the channel because a lot of people have subscribed in the last couple of days. So Eurovision Knockout is a reimagining of Eurovision in a World Cup style way, with knockout stages where two songs go head to head. And the subscribers to this channel voted, and then one of the songs made it to the next round. There were also heats, but they were too many to really go through. So here you see the last 16, you see the quarterfinals, you see the semifinals, and you see how we got the final between Sweden and Finland we have, and the third place battle between Albania and Czechia as well. So first, let's find out who came third in Eurovision Knockout, which might be important because last year the third place in Eurovision Knockout was Nemo, who managed to win in the end. So we have Škoda Elektronika with Germ against Adonis with Kiss Kiss Goodbye. And the winner of the battle for third place of Eurovision Knockout is... it's Albania. Škoda Elektronika and Germ, congratulations, with 66.6% of the total votes, so a clear two-third majority. Well done to Albania, who are now in third place then. So let's find out who the winner is, but before doing that, let's look at the journey these songs have gone through. There were the heats, of course, that both of them won. Then Sweden had to win against Azerbaijan in the last 16, against Malta in the quarterfinals, against Albania in the semifinals, and now is in the final of Eurovision Knockout. And then Finland had to win against Poland in the last 16, Austria, obviously, in the quarterfinals, and Czechia in the semifinals, and that's how they made it to the final. So it's an all-Finnish, in some ways, a grand final. And it is Kai Barabarabastu for Sweden against Erika Wigman with Ich komme for Finland. Now, the winner of the grand final is Finland or Sweden, just to remind you. Sorry, I had to do that one last time. The winner is... It's Kai Barabarabastu with 60.3% of the votes. They have won Eurovision Knockout 2025. Grattis, congratulations for this great win. I hope this is right in Swedish. I Googled it. I thought it was congratulerar, but I found grattis. So grattis, Kai. Well done for winning Eurovision Knockout. And so Sweden is the winner of this competition. And we shall see tonight whether my subscribers voting in this were right to crown Sweden the winner. So back in my usual outfit, before I tell you why I love Eurovision, which a lot of people have asked me and which some people at your viewing party might also ask you, I also wanted to say to my Norwegian subscribers, gratulerer med dagen, because today is the Norwegian National Day with lots of celebrations. So probably you don't even watch this video because you have better things to do, but I still wanted to include that. Let's get to the last question in this video, why I love Eurovision. I did a video about that 2 years ago, but here are my reasons. Obviously, it's the languages, the flags, the map, having songs in so many different languages. And that's, by the way, another record I forgot earlier. We have 15 different languages in the songs in the final this year. For the first time ever, we have Latvian in the final. All the other Latvian entries didn't manage to qualify in the past. We have an Albanian dialect as well, which is so cool and such a cool representation for such languages with not a lot of speakers, like Icelandic as well, on such a huge stage. Where do you see that, if not at Eurovision? And as I said, we also hear Croatian, so it's actually 16 languages. Germany is in German for the first time since 2007, and Sweden is performing in Swedish for the first time since 1998. Interestingly, both of them performed not by Germans or Swedes, but by Austrian, Hungarians, and Finns. So that's interesting. That is the part I love the most, discovering new artists, songs in different languages. I love the sound of a song in a different language because each language gives a song a different sound and feeling and vibe. A song in Italian doesn't sound the same as a song in Finnish or a song in Icelandic, for example, but I like the sounds of all of them. Then I also like the fact that it kind of promotes inclusion and diversity because you cannot vote for your own country. Think of a competition where you actually have to vote, if you do vote as a televoter or as a jury member, for another country to do well. You cannot give 12 points to yourself. You have to give them to someone else. And that is just a change in your brain, I think, from soccer, where of course you wave your own country's flag, or sports in general. Football, sorry. I always get criticism for saying soccer instead of football. And just to have this moment where your country gives 12 points to its biggest competitor, maybe, I think is a great thing about Eurovision. Also that each country, no matter the size, gets to hand out 12 points, 10 points, and so on. Is a very equalizing thing in Eurovision. I think that is really cool. And also this thing amongst us Eurovision fans mostly, I think. But this year I want France or Sweden to win. I don't really expect Germany to win. Obviously, I would be happy if we did. But this moment where you support another country in a competition that your country also participates in, I think also promotes all of that. And I think it also promotes tolerance for music genres, because if you are a Eurovision fan, you have to kind of deal with the fact that some songs you don't connect to at all do really well in the contest. And over time, I think you become more and more open to listening to songs in a different way. Like me, for example, with songs from the former Yugoslavia countries. I didn't understand them in the beginning, and now I'm a big fan of those. And I even am trying to learn the language. So yeah, that is why I love Eurovision, and that's how I wanted to end the video with something very positive. I thank you so much for the entire season. If you've been a subscriber for a long time, it's been a lot of fun reading your comments. Thank you so much for that. And I wish you the best Eurovision viewing experience tonight. I hope you have fun. I still have my winner prediction, which I will probably publish later on if I do. If not, you will notice that I don't have a new video. But anyway, a great watching experience tonight. Have fun, enjoy it. And if your country does win, do enjoy that too, because it might not happen that soon again. So thank you for watching. Do subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you for my next video. Thank you and bye-bye.